Hello, bienvenue. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Vancouver doesn't usually have its Pride Parade until August, but I'm definitely looking forward to the huge party downtown. Though I'll admit that Pride seems to have become more about corporate advertising than it does about celebrating the community these days, which bothers me to no end. But I also don't always feel welcome at Pride, and that's because I'm a very small percentage of the community that is often ignored and dismissed. I'm asexual, and yeah, trust me, I've heard all of the jokes. But beyond those usual jokes of reproducing with myself and such, people like to put us down. They tell us that we're faking it, that we don't belong. And from a community that has been persecuted and ostracized for merely existing, that's extremely hurtful. Being told again and again that I'm not valid, that I don't exist, or that I just haven't met the right person. I've dated. I've had girlfriends, and I've had boyfriends, and I've had sex. I just don't think about it. I don't walk down the street, see a hot dude or a hot chick and go, fuck yeah, I want to bang them. I don't understand how people experience that. That is just so completely foreign to me. For me, it's the person. I'm attracted to their personality. Growing up ace is an experience that I would wish on absolutely nobody, especially without support. Because at some point in your life, you ask yourself, what is wrong with me? I always felt broken. I didn't understand the way that I felt, or the lack thereof. It's not something I was ever really able to define until adulthood. And being a teenager is already one of the most confusing periods of time in your life. I feel like most people don't figure out their asexuality until they're at least in their 20s and sometimes into their 30s. Imagine being told by everyone around you that your hormones are going to experience certain urges and changes, but that never comes. Everyone around you is having sex, talking about sex, joking about sex. It's sex, sex, sex all the time. Everything in our culture is so sexualized, but when you're ace, so much of that just goes straight over your head. Or it makes your everyday life extremely confusing. And it doesn't help that most health is geared towards heterosexuality. So a lot of us don't have these terms or understanding the fundamentals of who we are. Because we're never taught to think that way. We're never taught that anything else exists. I will never understand car commercials with half-naked chicks draped over the hoods of cars. I mean, what does a chick with her boobs hanging out have to do with the latest safety features and crash test ratings of the newest model? Everyone around you is always telling you that you want sex. Your friends, strangers, and even your family. For me, my parents were extremely strict conservative Christians, and they would tell me that I would want to have sex, but I can't until I'm married. I need to ignore these urges. But when those urges never came, I had to wonder, what was wrong with me? All of my friends talked about sex all the time. They wanted sex, they had sex, and I couldn't understand why I was different. Was I defective? So I faked it. I didn't want to be left behind. This is what everyone else was doing, and this is how everyone else felt, so to fit in, I needed to as well. So I had sex, and I hated it. But everyone always tells you that your first time is absolutely terrible, so I kept trying. And many partners, and many years later, I still didn't like it. I still felt nothing, and this is how relationships were supposed to work. My partner, of course, was going to expect and want sex, and so I just went along with it. Have you ever turned over after sex and silently cried yourself to sleep because you felt dirty, disgusting, and damaged? What is wrong with you? You should want this. You should enjoy this. This is normal. Something is fundamentally wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You are valid. Sexuality is a sliding spectrum, and no two people are ever going to be the same. It took me a long time to come to terms with my sexuality, to really understand who I am, and I'm still discovering things about myself even to this day. As cliche as it sounds, finding yourself takes time, and we as a community want to be there for you. We can answer your questions and support you. But don't think that you need to put a label on yourself, because things change, and you may find new facets of who you are. Ultimately, be happy, be yourself, and be kind. Because as Red Green says, we're all in this together.